1 kilowatt-hour can power a 5-watt LED lamp for 200 hours. It can charge a smartphone 100 times or run a refrigerator for a full day. Yet, this very kilowatt-hour, Japan generates about 1 trillion kW annually, while India produces approximately 1.8 trillion kWh. The EU generates around 3.2 trillion kWh, and the US about 4.2 trillion kWh. China's total power generation is projected to exceed 10.4 trillion kW by 2025. Indeed, that equals the combined total of the US, EU, India and Japan. 1 out of every 3 kilowatt-hours worldwide originates from China. You might wonder, why does China generate so much electricity? Is electricity truly that crucial? Consider this in today's fiercely competitive AI race. Electricity is the lifeline. Training a cutting-edge AI model consumes as much power as a mid-sized city uses in months. A supercomputing center or computing cluster consumes daily what tens of thousands of households use monthly. Without electricity, even the most powerful chips are just scrap metal. AI cannot function without ample stable power, nor can modern industry advance. China's decades-long power infrastructure investment is no waste, but a national strategic vision. As the world's leading power generator, where does China's electricity originate? Hydropower, thermal, wind, solar, what is their respective share? Our ultra-high voltage grid, how robust is China's nationwide power grid? As one of few nations with a complete power industry system, what makes China's power sector exceptional? This documentary reveals China's undisputed leadership as the world's top electricity powerhouse. From power generation to transmission, consumption to future planning, we unveil China's comprehensive electrical capabilities. Rewind to 1980, when China's annual electricity output was below 300 billion kWh. Cities suffered blackouts, while rural areas endured voltage fluctuations. Lights would flicker whenever TVs powered on. 4 decades later, China's power generation has multiplied over 30-fold. This isn't mere growth, but a transformative energy revolution. Today's China leads global industrial production, dominating manufacturing sectors from steel and cement to chemicals, automobiles, and appliances. What defines industrial essence? Energy conversion, from steel blast furnaces to semiconductor cleanrooms, EV assembly lines to data centers. Subways, bullet trains, airports, and ports all demand power. Electricity is the lifeblood of modern civilization. While China's GDP ranks second globally, its fundamental metric, electricity output, often gets overlooked. GDP includes finance, services, and virtual economies, but power generation reflects tangible reality. 10 trillion kWh can't be fabricated. Every watt generated must be physically consumed. Thus, electricity output measures true industrial capacity, manufacturing prowess, and infrastructure scale. By this metric, China doesn't just lead, it dominates by an unprecedented margin. But the crucial question remains, what powers this massive electricity generation? Analyzing China's power generation mix reveals a fascinating phenomenon. China isn't reliant on a single energy source, but masters them all. Take thermal power. Many equate it solely with polluting coal power. Yet, it remains the bedrock of China's power system. For decades, coal has delivered the most stable, controllable and cost-effective, large-scale power. As the world's leader in coal reserves and production, China enjoys unparalleled energy security confidence. Modern coal plants bear no resemblance to their smoke-belching predecessors. Ultra-supercritical units, gigawatt-scale generators, and ultra-low emission retrofits continuously improve efficiency while slashing emissions. China's thermal power standards lead globally in both efficiency and eco-friendliness. Yet thermal power alone couldn't have made China the world's power leader. Hydropower revolutionized China's energy landscape. The Yangtze River is the backbone of China's electrification history. Since the Three Gorges Dam's completion, its annual output consistently exceeds 100 billion kWh, ranking among the world's most productive hydropower stations. Complemented by Xiluodu, Xiangjiaba, Baihetan, Wudongdi, and other mega-projects, Southwest China hosts the planet's largest hydropower cluster. Hydropower's advantages: stability, flexibility, near-zero fuel costs, and exceptional longevity. It is also ideal for peak load regulation, serves as a buffer for the volatility of wind and solar power. This laid the crucial foundation for China's subsequent large-scale new energy development. But what truly transformed China's energy structure trajectory was wind and solar power. A decade ago, many still questioned whether China's new energy push was just money burning. Today we have the definitive answer. China now leads the world in installed wind power capacity and ranks first in solar photovoltaic installations. From wind farms in Xinjiang, Inner Mongolia, and Gansu to solar bases in Qinghai, Ningxia, and Shanxi, China has built the world's largest renewable energy cluster. China dominates global PV module production and leads in wind turbine manufacturing. What does this signify? China isn't just the top new energy consumer, but also the leading equipment manufacturer. Energy transition isn't merely environmental. It is industrial transformation. While Europe struggles with energy prices, China has built a complete new energy industrial chain. Thermal ensures stability. Hydro offers flexibility, while renewables drive growth. With nuclear power as the ace card, China ranks among global leaders in both operational and under construction nuclear capacity. Nuclear power delivers reliability, high capacity factors, and low emissions, a cornerstone of future energy systems. Combining these elements reveals China isn't gambling on single energy sources, but building a diversified, resilient, and sustainable energy ecosystem. This explains China's world-leading power generation. But generation is just step one. Without effective transmission, it is all meaningless. What truly gives China's power system an overwhelming advantage is its power grid. Now let's explore why China's power grid is the world's most sophisticated and one of the most robust engineering systems. And those three mysterious words many have heard, but few understand. UA transmission. What exactly is it? While power generation determines a nation's energy scale, the power grid defines its energy distribution capability. What most people don't realize is that China's power grid complexity far exceeds international expectations. Consider this. Where are China's energy resources concentrated? Coal reserves cluster in Shanxi, and Inner Mongolia, while hydropower dominates Sichuan, Yunnan, and Tibet. Wind and solar farms concentrate in Xinjiang, Gansu, Ningxia, and western Inner Mongolia. Yet, where does the heaviest consumption occur? The Yangtze River Delta, the Pearl River Delta, the Beijing-Tian, Jinhebei region, and Chengdu, Chongqing area. Energy resources lie northwest and southwest, while demand centers along the eastern coast, separated by thousands of kilometers. Without robust transmission capacity, western regions would waste renewable energy while eastern cities face blackouts. China's true electrical marvel isn't just generating 10.4 trillion kWh, but delivering this power reliably to 1.4 billion people nationwide. The linchpin, ultra-high voltage transmission. What defines UHE? Simply put, transmission lines operating at unprecedented voltage levels. Higher voltages enable longer transmission distances, lower losses, and greater single-circuit capacity. China pioneered commercial-scale UHED implementation globally. From west-east to north-south power transmission, these UHE arteries, spanning the Gobi Desert, snow-capped mountains, deserts, and vast plains, transmitting clean energy from western regions directly to eastern load centers. Hydropower from Baihetan flows directly to Jiangsu, while Xinjiang's wind power reaches Anhui, and coal-fired power from Henan and Inner Mongolia fuels East China's manufacturing sector. This isn't just about transmission lines, but a nationwide ultra-large-scale power grid. China's power grid is the world's largest, serving the biggest population, with the most comprehensive voltage hierarchy. Crucially, it operates under unified dispatch. Unlike many countries with fragmented regional grids facing coordination challenges, China has built a massive synchronous grid with nationwide interconnectivity. What does this mean? When extreme weather hits one region, causing power shortages, others can provide immediate backup support. Renewable energy fluctuations can be balanced through cross-regional coordination. This enables nationwide optimal power distribution as one integrated system. This represents a systemic advantage, demonstrated most powerfully through grid dispatch capabilities. While power plants generate electricity, the grid must maintain real-time balance. Generation must match consumption exactly. Excess raises frequency, while deficiency lowers it. Loss of control can trigger cascading failures and blackouts. This isn't theoretical. It is an extreme engineering challenge. China's daily load fluctuations routinely swing by gigawatt-scale magnitudes. Summer AC demand creates spikes, while winter heating increases baseline loads. Power demand surges during holidays, when factories suspend operations. Demand drops significantly during nighttime off-peak hours, compounded by the volatility of wind and solar output, spikes during strong winds and plummets when winds die down. Solar generation surges at sunrise and plummets at dusk. How does China maintain grid stability amid such complexity? Through world-class dispatch systems and digital control capabilities. China's power grid boasts top-tier automation, real-time monitoring, and fault isolation capabilities. Dispatch centers dynamically adjust generator outputs, cross-regional transmission, and energy storage cycles in real time. That is right. You heard correctly. Energy storage. Unlike traditional systems that match generation to consumption, today's innovation stores surplus electricity. Pumped hydro remains the most proven large-scale storage solution. Pumps water uphill during off-peak hours and generates power during peaks. China ranks among global leaders in pumped hydro capacity. Meanwhile, grid-scale battery storage is rapidly expanding. Renewable bases integrate storage. Industrial parks host storage stations, and data centers incorporate dedicated storage. Storage enables more than load balancing. It unlocks renewable integration. At scale, as renewables dominate, grids must grow smarter. This defines China's next-gen power system. While many nations install renewables, few can effectively integrate them. This often leads to drastic electricity price fluctuations, even resulting in negative pricing. China's ambition goes beyond merely chasing renewable energy percentage targets, but focuses on establishing stability, a flexible and sustainable integrated power system. Here is an often overlooked achievement: China's urban-rural grid modernization. China once struggled with unstable voltage and outdated wiring in rural areas, but massive investments over 2 decades transformed rural power infrastructure. Today, power reliability has dramatically improved across rural China, from remote mountain villages to coastal cities. The grid now reaches virtually every administrative village. This achievement reflects decades of patient infrastructure development. While nations debate energy security, China is building energy resilience. The key difference: security prevents problems. Resilience ensures rapid recovery when disruptions occur. As extreme weather events increase, energy system stability becomes a national competitive advantage. China's power strength isn't just about leading in scale, but encompasses generation mix, grid architecture, dispatch capability to storage systems. A complete closed-loop solution. Yet challenges remain. With generation and transmission established and dispatch systems in place, where does this power ultimately flow? Which industries consume China's 10.4 trillion kWh? What is the residential share? Industrial consumption? How is evolving power consumption reshaping China's economy? To truly understand the nation's industrial makeup, look beyond GDP. Analyze power consumption patterns. Electricity never lies. The sector consuming the most electricity is the true powerhouse of this nation's economy. China's electricity consumption pattern has consistently exhibited a distinct characteristic. Industrial usage dominates the energy mix. What does this signify? It underscores China's economic foundation, rooted in tangible manufacturing. From steel, cement, and non-ferrous metals, to chemical plants, from machinery to electronics, manufacturing, and automotive production, each assembly line thrives on massive electricity consumption. While manufacturing may seem unglamorous to some, consider this: chip fabrication demands precision climate-controlled power systems. EV battery production requires ultra-precise power regulation. And photovoltaic silicon purification combines massive energy needs with cutting-edge technology. These aren't low-end operations, but energy-intensive, tech-driven industries. In essence, a nation's electricity footprint mirrors its industrial sophistication. Observe another emerging trend. China's service sector is experiencing surging electricity demand. Data centers, cloud computing hubs, AI training clusters, 5G networks. These invisible infrastructures are fundamentally electricity-driven systems. A single hyperscale data center can demand hundreds of megawatts, sometimes even more, as AI model training scales exponentially. Computing power requirements skyrocket in parallel. Computing power equals electricity, from silicon chips to cooling systems. All fundamentally rely on power. Why the westward migration of computing centers? Simple economics, cheaper electricity, abundant energy, and favorable cooling conditions. This East Data West computing strategy leverages Western power generation. Eastern computing demands are powered by our UI transmission network, creating innovative synergy between energy and computing resources. This goes beyond conventional industrial planning. It represents deep convergence between energy and digital economies. Consider another vivid example: new energy vehicles. An EV consumes nearly 10+ kWh per 100 kilometers, with China's NEV fleet surpassing tens of millions. What does this signify? It marks the electrification of our transportation energy matrix. Our transportation system once relied on petroleum. Now, it is transitioning to electricity. This embodies the essence of energy transition, shifting from fossil fuel combustion to electric power utilization. But there is more profound transformation underway. Industrial electrification accelerates. Electric arc furnaces replace blast furnaces. Electric boilers supersede coal-fired ones. What does this widespread industrial electrification imply? China's electricity dependence will only intensify. 10.4 trillion kWh is merely a milestone. Now, consider residential electricity usage. While many prioritize household consumption, reality shows residential usage isn't the dominant share. China's power system primarily fuels production, not consumption. Yet, residential transformations remain significant. From summer AC adoption to winter electric heating, smart homes and EV chargers entering communities, household electrification continues to rise. Notice this telling detail. Power outages transformed from routine to headlines. This epitomizes the sophistication of China's power grid. Observing peak loads, summer heat waves continuously push China's power demand to record highs. This surge stems not merely from weather, but from the combined demand of air conditioning, electric vehicles, and industrial operations. Hence, China's persistent emphasis on industrial stability and price controls. As drastic electricity price fluctuations would disrupt entire supply chains, not just individuals. During energy crises, many nations saw electricity prices double or even multiply, forcing factory shutdowns and straining households. China maintains price stability through coal power's foundational role, renewable cost reductions, and sophisticated grid management, demonstrating systemic excellence. Consider an often overlooked metric, energy intensity per GDP unit. While historically labeled energy inefficient, recent years reveal a pivotal trend of steadily declining energy intensity. What is the significance? It signifies achieving greater economic output with less energy. True efficiency gains as renewables expand, energy-intensive industries modernize, and digital economy grows. Electricity transforms from mere consumption to an efficiency multiplier. The true evolution of power systems. The conclusion is clear. China's massive generation isn't wasteful, but fuels the world's largest manufacturing base, infrastructure development, and digital transformation. Electricity powers industries, propels transportation, underpins computing, and sustains modern civilization. But here comes the question, with China now leading the world in power generation, should it keep expanding its capacity? How far can renewable energy's share grow? Could nuclear power emerge as the next game changer? Will energy storage revolutionize the power sector's rules? Or crucially, in the global race for energy transition, what is China's ultimate advantage in power development? Let's explore China's power vision for the future, including its next-gen power system and carbon neutrality roadmap, and how electricity will reshape global competitiveness in coming decades. When a nation generates over 10 trillion kW annually, its ambition shifts from sufficiency to supremacy. China's next move isn't about building more power plants, but executing a systemic transformation. This revolution centers on the next generation power system. What defines this new system? It is a future-proof energy ecosystem where renewables dominate. Grids serve as hubs, storage provides stability, and digitalization acts as the neural network. The old paradigm relied on coal-fired plants with centralized, one-way transmission. The new model features wind-solar dominance with diverse sources, smart two-way flows, and AI-driven dispatching. First, renewable energy's growing share. China has led the world for years in newly installed wind and solar capacity, with renewables generation share steadily increasing. A key concern emerges as renewables gain prominence. Could grid stability be compromised? This is precisely China's current R-rated priority. While expanding mega wind-solar farms in resource-abundant regions like the Northwest and Southwest, meanwhile, distributed photovoltaic systems are being widely deployed on urban rooftops and across industrial parks. China's energy production is evolving from centralized to a hybrid model, combining centralized and distributed generation. As more households and businesses become power producers, the power grid transforms from mere transmission lines into a massive energy dispatch platform. Regarding energy storage, while renewables will dominate future energy, storage systems will serve as the stabilizers. Pumped hydro storage will continue expanding, while new electrochemical storage solutions are rapidly commercializing. Hydrogen energy is also being explored as a long-term storage medium. With declining storage costs, we'll soon reach an era where all wind and solar generation can be fully utilized. Nuclear power remains another ace card. Nuclear plants offer stable, low-carbon power with controllable output. China has achieved large-scale deployment of indigenous third-gen nuclear technology, consistently ranking among global leaders in reactors under construction. Future nuclear expansion in coastal load centers will play a crucial role in maintaining baseload stability. Despite public concerns, nuclear remains essential for any nation pursuing large-scale low-carbon power. Nuclear is virtually indispensable. Now consider the broader carbon neutrality goal. China's dual carbon target necessitates fundamental energy system transformation. Often misunderstood as simply phasing out coal, in reality it is about structural optimization, not mere replacement. As renewable penetration grows, coal power will transition to a flexible regulating role, prioritizing grid stability and peak regulation over mere power generation capacity. This represents a strategic shift in energy priorities, zooming out to the global perspective. In this electrification era, national competitiveness no longer hinges solely on oil reserves, but rather on power system capabilities. AI development demands electricity, advanced manufacturing consumes power, data centers require massive electricity, EVs need charging, and future hydrogen production, water electrolysis and carbon capture will be power-hungry processes. The nation that masters stable, cost-effective, and large-scale power infrastructure holds the key to industrial advancement. This explains why China's power system transcends its world's largest generation title. In significance, it signifies China's unparalleled power generation portfolio, planet's largest grid network, world-leading EOG transmission, dominant renewable energy supply chain, and expanding energy storage, plus nuclear capabilities. This constitutes the foundation of modern industrial civilization. Few nations achieve comprehensive excellence across generation, transmission, equipment, manufacturing, system operation, and industrial integration. China's power strength lies not just in scale, but in systemic completeness. Ultimately, why does China generate such enormous electricity? The answer is straightforward. China's development model prioritizes real economy, manufacturing excellence and technological advancement. This trajectory ensures sustained electricity demand. Power needs will keep growing for decades to come. The adoption of new energy vehicles will keep expanding, and industrial electrification will further progress. Computing power demand will keep surging, while renewable energy's share continues to rise. Next time you switch on lights, charge your phone, turn on AC, or stream videos, what powers your life is an electricity giant generating over 10 trillion kW annually, the world's most powerful grid system, spanning plateaus to coastlines, linking dams with deserts, threading through urban and rural areas, powering factories and data hubs alike, unassuming yet colossal, silent yet decisive for national destiny. Being the world's top electricity producer isn't just a statistic, but a strategic advantage in tomorrow's competition, where steel output defined industrial supremacy. Electrical capacity now determines digital leadership, with China generating 1 in every 3 kilowatt-hours globally. This signifies not just scale, but fundamental national strength. China's power grid doesn't just illuminate cities, it is energizing our future. That concludes today's program. If you found this content insightful and valuable, please like, subscribe and share. I'll keep delivering more substantive and thought-provoking content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.